Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss our class 8 chapter number 12, that is friction. Okay. So students, have you heard this word friction in your 6th and 7th class? Okay. Now let's listen what is friction. See student, we have take first of all one example. Roll a ball on the ground. Roll a ball on the ground. What happened? Does it come to rest after some time? Yes. This shows that something force must be acting on the ball which makes the ball slow down, and this is the force of friction. Okay. So in your school also on the table, when you are rolling a pencil, after some time this pencil is getting stopped because of friction. So let's see what is friction. Force of friction. Force of friction is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. Understand student? If something is moving, it opposes the motion. So in short, what we say the definition of friction? Friction opposes motion. Okay. So the force of friction acts between the object and the surface. It acts on the, if the ball is there, so ball is what? It is an object and it is coming in the contact with surface. So the force of friction acts between the object and the surface. Example you can take it. See in this one, 3 examples are given you. A ball rolling on ground gradually slows down and comes to the rest due to the force of friction between the ball and the ground. If we stop pedaling a bicycle, it grows slowly down and comes to a stop due to the force of friction between the wheel and the road. Same there is in the form of wood block also. If we are pushing any wood block, so it has to be moved for something, and the friction against their motion. Now, what are the factors affecting friction? What are the factors are there that can affect the friction? What is there? First is nature of the surfaces in contact. So the object which is there is contact with the surface, that is also affect the motions, or it can also affect, depends upon we can say that the nature of the surfaces in contact, the smoothness of the surface is also affect the friction. So how hard the surface press together, friction is less on a smooth surface. See students, one roller is there. One is in grey color, rough surface is there, and in yellow color, see, smooth surface is there. So what happened in there? In smooth surface, what happened? When we are rolling anything, it can roll. It can easily move. It can easily be moved, or we can say that when we are moving any roll things over from this edge of grey color, this one. So what happened? It already rolls and it goes. And it goes at the it can take a longer distance. It goes into the longer distance. So we can say that when we are rolling any of the things, or we can say that we flow any of the things from this brakes. So what happened when it rolls over on a smooth surface? It goes and it covers the longer distance. And the same here, when it flows at the same part, at the same slope from this, any roll thing is to be sloped according to this sloper edge. What happened? If the surface is rough, the roller object is not cover the longer distance. Okay, so that see there the distance covered by these roller after them is great. In smooth surface the roller is there, and in the smooth and in rough surface the roller is very near to the sloping edge. Okay. Now the next one is causing of friction. Cause of friction. Why is friction caused? Friction is caused due to the interlocking of irregularities between the two surfaces in contact. Underline and keep it in your mind, students. Friction is caused because of the interlocking of irregularities between the two surfaces in contact, because of the irregularities of the substances. Irregularity contact of the surfaces. Smooth surfaces have a minute irregularities between the two surfaces, whereas the rough surfaces have a large irregularities between the two surfaces. Okay, so the force of friction is more if the surfaces are rough. Understand students? cause of friction is that why friction is caused. So we can say that friction is caused because because of the irregularities between the two surfaces which is there in one contact to each other. Okay. So smooth surface is there, the minute irregularities is there, and the rough surface have a larger irregularities. Now the types of friction. We all know about the types of friction, that there are three main types of frictions are there. They are static friction, sliding friction and rolling friction. Static friction is the friction exerted on an object at in rest position. So when our object is in rest position, we can say that which friction is going on? Static friction is there. Okay. Sliding friction is the friction exerted when an object slides over a surface. Okay. See, there is there. Okay. That one is our the boy is sliding over on a slider, that is our, in this sliding friction is there. Rolling friction is the friction exerted when an object rolls over a surface. See, in this third condition, something is rolling over on the edge, so that is our rolling friction. Now sliding friction is slightly less than static friction. Sliding friction is less than static friction, and rolling friction is less than sliding friction and static friction. Okay. Now what happened? How we can say that friction is sometimes useful for us, or what are the advantage of friction? See, friction is useful for many of our daily activities. For it is possible to hold a tumbler due to friction between the hand and the tumbler. That is one of the examples. See, if tumbler is there, if you want to hold them, you have to hold the tumbler because of friction. Friction between the feet and the ground help us to walk on the ground. That is the other example. Third, it is possible to write with a pen or pencil on a paper due to the friction. That is the third example. Fourth is, it is possible to write on blackboard due to the friction only. Okay, fourth example. Fifth is, friction between the tires and the road helps automobiles to move on the road. Okay, and the next one is, friction between the bricks and helps in the construction of building. Okay, students. So in this way we can say that the friction is very useful for us in our daily activities. Friction is sometimes undesirable or disadvantage of friction. We can say how soles of shoes wear out due to friction. Okay, that is, they see in their soles is to be wear out because of friction. Tires of bicycle and automobiles also wear out due to friction. Okay, steps of staircases also and foot over bridges in railway stations wear also due to friction. Knives and razors also lost their sharp edges due to friction. Also we can say that friction causes wastage of energy, or friction wears out the rubbing surfaces, and friction generates heat also. Okay, so by this points we can understand that it is sometimes undesirable for us. How we reduce friction? Friction can be reduced by, first, using lubricants like powders or oils or in grease. Second, using rollers or wheels. Third, using ball bearings. Okay, so we can reduce friction by all these methods. Okay, we sprinkle powder on a carom board. Why? To reduce friction. Oil or grease is applied between moving parts of a machine to reduce friction. Rollers are used in luggage baggage to reduce frictions. Wheels are used in vehicles to reduce frictions. Ball bearings are used in ceiling fans, bicycles and vehicles to reduce friction. Okay, so all in this way we can reduce frictions. Now one more term is there, fluid friction. What is the fluid means? Liquid. Fluid friction is the force of friction exerted by the liquids and gases on objects moving through them. Okay, so the fluid friction is the force of frictions which is exerted by liquids and gases. Fluid frictions depends upon the speed of the object, shape of the object, the nature of the fluid, See how birds flying in the air. Birds flying in the air have a streamlined body. Why? Because to reduce fluid friction. Fishes living in water, they have also streamlined body to reduce fluid friction. Aeroplanes and spacecrafts have a streamlined body. Why? To reduce fluid friction. Okay, students? So this one is our whole chapter. So in this chapter what we had studied, we had already studied about what is friction, what are the causes of friction, what the changes happen because of friction, what are the advantage of friction, what are the disadvantage of friction, and how we minimizing the friction and fluid friction. Okay, students? So this one is our whole friction chapter. Okay. So read it carefully. Thank you so much.